Cameron. Approval of agenda.
Mr. President, would you add item number 5, accept donation?
Yep. I move to approve the agenda as revised. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? 6-0. Move on to consent items.
Just so I didn't miss anything, was page 20 and 22 exactly the same? Was there something on there that? Huh?
The bleach yet?
No, page 20 and page 22.
Yes, it looks like it.
That's what I was thinking, just in case there's something I missed that I,
Duplication.
okay.
The
Oh.
second page of the minutes we're approving. I didn't
It
read
is,
it.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Number 2.
Like, yeah, the second page, we're supposed to be approving the minutes, that's only one page of them. There's nothing, only have that one page.
It is the same thing.
Did
She
you?
was talking
No,
about
she was
Shane,
talking about
no, I did not
2022.
get it.
So I'd say we don't approve
Is there
that.
the second page to the minute? Do you have it? Is it written on? I don't.
How about if I just copy it real quick?
I had a quick question too on, just in general on
Hi, Dan.
teaching supplies and stuff as we see them go by, and I know we're kind of looking at the budget. How do you designate, how do you distribute teaching supplies?
Like what?
Well, like for instance, I think some schools have so much per teacher, have a set amount and stuff like that. Just wondering how you did it.
We've never had a budget as far as like teaching, like actual teaching supplies. Normally I ask all teachers to, at the end of the year, they get their recommendations for the next year. And then, depending on, what the need of the classroom is at that time, a microscope costs a little bit different than a box of pencils, or, an instrument's gonna cost a lot different than, some markers, for.
So you kind of just watch the budget and then they just,
Yeah.
whatever they might need, you just kind of keep an eye on it that way.
Yeah, I'm in communication with them all year long, like, what are you gonna need, what is it looking like, but
Okay.
the teachers did really well this year on, minimizing what they needed, so.
The double voided checks for Leanne's photos, page 18, 19, with school pictures,
Yes.
is that, there's no difference in those pages?
I just had the photocopy and then I had the real one, so
Okay.
they were together.
I also had a question on the, school attorney's bill that's in here, but I see she's not here, so what do I do?
I suppose you can wait till the next meeting.
Won't vote for it for another one.
on the ESSER funds, I gotta find it here, on that big spreadsheet. There's a column for the ESSER funds. And that's 40 grand or something like that. What is the status of all the ESSER stuff?
That's your stuff.
And that was a negative amount, remember, right? Negative 40.
Is that on last
The
year's
ESSER
one?
is cleared out.
I guess that's all last year, never mind. Yeah.
Column that could go away.
Huh?
Probably a column that could go away, I'm assuming at this point.
Yeah, it wouldn't have to be on anymore, would it?
Doubtful.
Or do you have to keep it for X amount
I
of
don't,
time?
yeah, I'm wondering, I can
don't
check
know.
into that.
Seems like it has to be on.
I don't know that it has to be on this. This was an addition that Ab Smith, if I remember correctly, added for just a reference, quick reference.
Yeah. Which is a nice summary.
Page 40 is the new thing. Northwest
Well,
Kansas.
we are, you wanna explain that, Drew?
Oh, so for the Northwest Kansas League, I'm president for the next 2 years, and we host the league's account. And so it falls under our shelter, basically. It has its own separate account at the bank, but, yeah,
So these aren't even necessarily reference
Nope.
to us.
not at all. Yeah. In case you were ever wondering how much, the volleyball tournament refs cost, there it is.
If you guys don't want me to include that, I don't have to.
The league thing? I don't care, it's
Doesn't
just.
necessarily have anything to do with us.
It's not anything we can do anything about it. I don't think. It's a league group.
And 41 and 42 is the daycare. Looks like we're still on track for losing over $3 grand a month. Unless I'm reading that right.
Well, if you see October, it's negative 611, and then November is, but we're not all the way through November, so, yeah. So at the beginning, we're July negative 3,000, August, 1757, September negative 27, October negative 611, and then November, that's because we don't have everything in there yet.
Okay.
I'll share more in my report.
Motion?
I'll move to approve consent items 1 through 6.
Is there a second? Well, 6 is added, the daycare is added in there.
I'll second it.
All in favor? All opposed?
I need to wait till I find that out, so.
4-2.
Is it Sandy and Brad?
Sandy and Brad, opposed. Citizen comments,
I have some.
3 minutes.
I have some documents that were supplied by the Kansas Open Records Act from the Attorney General's office from their investigation into this board. Exhibit A is a list of COMA violations that the board has had from November of 2022 through June of 24. 53 violations in all and over 19 meetings. I'll be posting them to my Facebook page so everyone can see what the AG found. But I'd like to pay special attention to one in particular, the February 16th, 2024. I'm sure you remember that one. That was the illegal executive session that you called to discriminate against my daughter. Not only was the executive session illegal, but the AG said in his report, quote, it was made abundantly clear that the minutes of the district were sanitized in an attempt to bring the actions of the board into compliance with COMA. So, not only did the board call an illegal executive session, but they altered the minutes to try to get themselves out of trouble, but it gets even worse. When the AG office called and requested a response for information needed for their investigation, your school lawyer declined the request for information. The reason, and you can't make this stuff up, is that it violated the student's privacy, which is protected under federal law. So the board called an illegal executive session for the purpose of discriminating against my daughter, scrubbed their minutes to make it look like they didn't, and then refused to give AG information for their investigation, using the excuse of protecting my daughter. Like, this is DC level corruption stuff, and it is the absolute height of hypocrisy. Ross, you made it sound like the violations were technical errors, just simple mistakes coming in and going out of executive session, but that's not what the AG office said. They clearly state in the letter that you read that the courts overlook technical violations if no prejudice is found and where the public right to know hasn't been violated. What they found was that, quote, the violations deprived the public served by the district the opportunity to see, hear, and know of the discussions of the board on the business of the district. He clearly states that these were, quote, more than mere technical violations of the COMA. Simply put, the board was intentionally hiding information and discussions from the public, going into illegal executive sessions to do their dirty deeds, and then changing the minutes, hoping they wouldn't get caught. But I didn't just come here to gloat. I'm hoping you can learn a few things. Number one, fire your school lawyer. Her pattern is clear. She gets you into a pickle and then she charges us to get you out of it. Number two, if you want to settle scores, you should at least have to do it with your own money, not the taxpayers. Find a different place for your vengeance. Number three, stop complaining about public engagement and getting turned in. As it turns out, the people barking at you for the last 2 years that what you were doing wasn't legal were right. Holding elected officials accountable isn't divisive, mean, anti-school, anti-child, or anti-Christian. It's responsible citizenship. And last but not least, listen to Sandy more often, because right now she has a track record of probably about 100% of being right.
Thank you.
Thank
Anyone
you.
else?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything, Ross, but I appreciate all you guys do, and I thank you and Mark for what you on the June meeting. You know, Ed had said last meeting that nothing happened wrong in June, but anyway, that's a whole other thing. But I'm just kind of concerned that she's taking advantage of you guys. I mean, she fought a Senate bill that was going to pass. There was one school in the state of Kansas that fought that. It cost us thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and it passed anyway. But anyway, and then just the things that she, like getting that attorney general, signing that and have her redo all the paperwork. And she said that she didn't think it was going to be accepted, and it wasn't. And that, how many thousands of dollars? I mean, I wasn't going to say nothing, but I just am wondering if you guys are being taken advantage of.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, no presentation, I'm assuming. Kyle, you're up. Athletic Activities Director report.
Buffer week this week, so all high school winter practices will start Monday. So the gym's off limits, weight room after school, except for cheerleaders, junior high practice, stuff like that. Volleyball finished up their season at Victoria. I was there. Played them really good, really tough game. Lost in 3. All 3 won 2-point games, so really proud of them how they finished. Junior high basketball played their first game last Thursday up at Tribune, and like I said, they're in full swing. They're home Tuesday and Thursday this week. Junior high and high school Scholars Bowl underway. They both, high school won the first meet, and 8th grade got third, and I believe 7th grade won theirs, so that's looking good. The school plays this week. I know the kids been practicing hard. I know I let a couple football kids out a little early because they got to get through run-throughs and stuff tonight, so that'll be exciting. And then sectional football Friday here against Hodgman County at 5 o'clock. So looking forward to that.
Woohoo.
Thank you.
Yep.
Let's see, Sandy, minutes in the packet, I'm
Yes, they
assuming?
are.
Alright. Bruce left his printout. With a check. Principal report, Andrew, you're up.
Alright, so since our last meeting, I've been slowly working on updating our district website to align with the best practices recommended by KSDE. The experience has confirmed that web design is not my strength or forte. I'm pleased to announce that Mrs. Hammer and I secured 40 new Chromebooks through the Adopt 2.0 grant. The grant requires us to track the usage of these computers for the next 3 years in our high school, and they will only be utilized in our high school per how the grant was written. On that, eventually we may need to revisit our Chromebook policy regarding students keeping their devices upon graduation. That can be a coming thing, not really important yet. I've also enjoyed stepping out of my office this past month to conduct teacher observations and to watch student presentations. I've had quite a few students that have presented in science, and actually in Mr. Goodfeller's health class that invited me to come in and watch them present, and I always find it insightful and enjoyable, and they do a very good job. On October 27th, I attended the Acacia Regional Administrators Meeting in Oakley, where schools discussed rule change proposals brought forth by Kansas Coaches Association and the KIAAA. This year's focus seems to be adopting a strength of schedule for volleyball and basketball, and we'll see what develops after the next Acacia Board of Directors meeting. At the regional meeting, it passed overwhelmingly. Most of the schools actually thought it was a good thing, and I would tell you I'm on the fence on it just because it's difficult. You're scheduling 2 years, or in volleyball 3 years and 4 years, and so I don't understand how you're changing your schedule when your athletes change. It's not like you can recruit or anything, so you could have a cyclical year where you have a really great team, and then eventually you're in a building year again. So I don't understand the points that well yet, and they did an okay job presenting it, but I don't know that it'll have that big of impact. Today our school's DLT, our district leadership team, was in Oakley for our KISA School Improvement Day. I'm certain Mrs. Hammer will talk about it too, but I know we're both grateful for our dedicated team and their efforts to maintain our accreditation, also with great support from our KISA consultant. Additionally, while we were at the support day, Mrs. Hammer and I learned that we received the Modernization Reserve Grant for our health CTE pathway, providing $20,095 for new equipment. Which our consortium will actually receive the funds because it's through Perkins, and then the funds are supposed to arrive in December, and then allowing us to slowly start purchasing stuff in January, February, and March through the consortium. Looking ahead, tomorrow we have our Veterans Day program, which is very exciting in our school. On Friday, our football team will host Hodgman County, as Coach Goodfeller said, in the sectional round. He also pointed out this week is buffer week. Let's see, skipping ahead, he covered quite a bit. As for the school play, it is scheduled for Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. And it is actually, I'm very excited to go and watch our students excel in all aspects of their education, especially in the musical theater. Some of the students that, in school, they're very quiet and hush-hush, and then all of a sudden you get them on stage and it's a whole different person, and it is exciting to see that. Next week, high school basketball can officially begin, with the hopeful exception of our high school boys team, as we are hoping they're still playing football. Then on Monday, November 24th, we'll be hosting our high school Scholars Bowl, and I would like to throw a shout out to Stephanie Johnson for helping us organize the event. Thank you. That's all I got. Unless you wanted more.
Questions?
Yeah, how long is your veterans program planning on being, or?
Probably 45 minutes, I
I think the
imagine.
presentation is.
I think about bringing the little kids,
Yeah.
so.
Sure.
You're welcome to.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Moving on, Superintendent Christie.
Okay, facilities has just, revolved around HVAC, and that project is so close to being complete. I was telling the guys on the call, I was like, I've enjoyed working with you guys, but I'd like to move on to something else, and they left, but, anyway, we are, trying to get a few of the little projects completed. The girls' locker room fan coil unit has been non-functional for quite some time. They went ahead and got a quote on that, and it was gonna be over 4,000, and Dale kinda worked with Eugene on that, and we got it fixed for about 400. So we can kinda check that off the list. We do have some light poles out there that, we would like to fix here. They haven't done anything on that yet. That secondary gym, that exhaust fan, it's kind of hit its limit as far as the switch goes. And so we're trying to find a system in which it hasn't ever been easy to turn on and off. And so what they were thinking would be good is that it has a timer. You hit the timer, it stays on for 20 minutes. Okay, so that way people don't walk out of the gym and leave it on all the time. So heater for the secondary gym mechanical room, we feel like that's important. We've done some securing up there to maybe make it so that those dampers don't open with the right wind, so we worked on that, but also that secondary, trying to get a heater in there. I don't think that was a bad price for $29.30, but.
What power?
What power is it?
What runs it, power?
Oh, what powers it?
Electricity, gas, right?
Yeah,
We
is that the same one we're talking about, like how if the power goes out again, that we need to make sure we're.
Yeah, let me double check on that, because we had talked at one time about like it had like a little generator in it, like it stored charge and then it would run for so long, but let me double check on that and I'll let you guys know. And then we talked a little bit about maybe incorporating some, I'm not really sure about the welding shop exhaust system. Dale was gonna talk to Eugene about what he would suggest. I know Dan has looked at that before too, but we're just trying to maybe tidy up some projects that are kind of just lingering out there that have needed to be fixed. So we are going to, hopefully, they keep rescheduling us, but we are hoping that we get the control system training down this week. It was scheduled for Wednesday, and so Darren, Eugene, Andrew, and I will be attending that, and hopefully be able to keep, that's automated by a computer, so we'll go in and adjust temperatures by computer if we need to. But they are supposed to have that scheduled out for us, and we go through the schedule with them, and so it'll turn down when we're not having school, and then back up to the ideal conditions when we are in session. So Mr. Cordy was nice enough to take the water sensors that we got from the insurance company and put those in several places, and so one of those is in that secondary gym mechanical room. You put one in the boiler room, one in that air handling unit, and
Other boiler.
oh, and then the other boiler room in the older building. So so that's kind of it for maintenance at this time. If anybody ever wants to go on the roof and see that new system, let me know. We can go up there. It's interesting anyway, to say the least, how big it is and how they put that on there. So KISA and school improvement, today was very successful, and we closed out our 24-25 school year, and we started then working on the 25-26 school year. We run from November to November, so it's a little tricky, but the staff had selected doing standards alignment, and I went ahead and put this on your table there. On the left-hand side, you see the fundamental. We have to select one of those fundamentals, and then we have to select one of the structures. So we selected standards alignment for this year. I will come to you with a plan next month, and for your approval, but the staff had worked with standards alignment, thought that standards alignment would be good since we're kind of switching over our TASA work with math, and then we selected for the structure professional collaboration. So we've already started that work of working with the staff, the classified teachers working on, the vertical alignment of the standards, so they've been working on that together. So, we started that plan, we started it before today, but we kind of refined it a little bit more today, in our school improvement day, so. On Wednesday of last week, the TASN consultant was here, and we again worked on math standards alignment. We talked a lot about math vocabulary and trying to get that consistent across the school, K-12. I've been attending some science instruction meetings just to kind of, they've been pushing a little bit from KSDE, and there's been some information out there about curriculum and basically alignment, standards alignment, so I've just kind of been attending them to see what those are like. I mentioned before that the teachers are kind of wanting some coherence among the science because they feel like, especially down in the grade school, they don't have a whole lot of resources. And so I'm kind of getting on those and trying to figure out what other schools are doing and what's working. Site Council was, we met this last week and we had great attendance and engagement. We discussed test scores, the activities, CTE programs, accreditation, state recognitions, the Perkins audit, the MTSS, and the budget. Site Council continues to be a valuable advisory group for us. They have a lot of good questions. They provide input and offer positive, constructive feedback. I want to tell Mr. Cordy, he told you he was doing the website, but I want to thank him for that. He's much better than I am. I can get it done, but I have to read the manual that one of my former students left for me when he worked on it, and that just takes me a little bit longer. But we've been working at the grade school on the energy bus principles and promoting positivity and personal growth throughout the school. And last week we celebrated Student of the Month and recognized students who exhibited the energy bus traits, and that's been fun for the K through 5. I've been in classrooms as well, observing teachers that are doing a really great job. We've also had a financial aid meeting, Project Frontier, which is through a grant through the Service Center. I've met with them, looked at their resources. We went to the Love and Logic presentation at Oakley. We're excited about the CTE grant. We're excited to just keep growing in that area. The daycare is doing better. I did advertise for an employee there because right now Sarah has no substitutes and would like a little relief here and there. So I did advertise for that. I've had no applicants on that. Mr. Cordy and I have been working really hard with the Booster Club and the PTO. They've been doing a lot of the work, but we've been working with them to try to get their ideas incorporated into the school, and they really have a lot of enthusiasm, and I really appreciate what they've done. As far as I put this on your out there to place, but I just want to address once again the state assessment or the recognition we've gotten from the state, because I've had a lot of people ask, well, what does post-secondary success mean? And so I found this on the KSDE department, and I mean, I try to explain it, and maybe doesn't come off as well as this explanation here, but on our post-secondary effectiveness, we did get bronze, and it starts with gold, goes silver, bronze, and copper, so we were at the 3rd level there. And if you read on that post-secondary success, it's the percent of high school graduates who either earned an industry recognized certification, a higher education degree, or continue their education 2 years after graduation. Uses the same post-high school criteria, but also includes all students who began high school in 9th grade, regardless of graduation status. And the post-secondary predicted effectiveness rate recognizes that Kansas communities are different. So this measure attempts to level the comparison by recognizing certain risk factors like cumulative poverty, chronic absenteeism, and student mobility as influences on success. So they take that all into to consideration on your post-secondary success. And then, academically prepared for post-secondary, we got a bronze in that as well. And that is, basically the number of students that are scoring in at least level 3. At least 75% of all students need to score at or above levels 3 or 4 on the state assessment. So that's always been our goal, is to get students scoring a 3 or 4. And so that's what that academically prepared for post-secondary is taking into effect, the state assessment scores and how many kids score 3s and 4s on those. So. I'm excited to welcome the veterans tomorrow for the breakfast and the program. And Mr. Cordy and I will be doing some leadership training this week. Is there any questions from the board?
Is the Washington repaired?
Yeah, I talked to them. They've been here and it repaired. Thank you for that reminder.
I just have a suggestion on, your, and it's very hard to find daycare subs, and that's gotta be tough on Sarah. My suggestion would be to maybe see if any of the subs that you already have want to get the license for that.
I have a couple at least that.
And that would probably make it, that way they've got time on any of them, and just might be handy, cause there is a way to, there is money out there too, if you can share. It's just that none to share even between Sarah and I, so.
Right. I think it's a problem in the daycares, but it's just, it's a problem just, finding people that fill spots in a lot of different areas.
So just something to think about, to see that maybe they might be interested in doing that.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on, discussion action items. Number 1, approved crisis plan update.
That is on what page here? 48, right? Nope. 47. It starts on 47. This needs to be added to the crisis plan, because the statute, 726284 requires that this be in a crisis plan. So, Mr. Cordy and Mrs. Deweese and I worked on this, to add this to the appendix. So I'm asking for approval for that, to add this to the appendix.
So I guess I got a couple issues with it, and I don't know how much say we have in it.
Right.
But on like page 49, it basically reads that you guys can attempt to notify the parents, but you don't actually have to notify the parents. Must attempt to notify parents and guardians to get permission to screen. A member will stay with the student until the parent contact has been attempted.
Not made, but attempted, that's kind of a scary word, isn't it?
It is to me, because over here, on the next page, 50, on bullet point 8, if the parent refused to seek services for a child under the age of 18 who is believed to be in danger, Wallace County School is a mandated reporting agency required to notify Child Protective Services that the child is being neglected. So if a parent disagrees with you guys, we can call Child Protective Services on that parent. Or we're required to call CPS.
That's been in schools for a long time, that teachers are mandated reporters, schools are.
Yeah. Yeah, I just had a huge issue with that. Yeah, I get that, but if the parent says, hey, I don't believe, like, cause a rogue teacher could say, hey, I think this kid's suicidal. And if the parent doesn't believe that, they have no say in it, they have to do the screening.
No, no, I don't think that's what they're saying. It says if the parents refuse to seek services, so like, they don't have to take the screening, I don't believe. I would need to check into that, but.
So if you follow the diagram, it says school cannot reach a parent, do this, parent refuses, do this. Over here, parent does not seek immediate clinical assessment when recommended, considering filing with DCF. But up here it's saying you're required to file against them.
I think okay. I guess, can we go back to this one right up here where it says, we have to, because like has been in schools where they can't get a hold of someone, like a parent, too. So that was what they needed to do because they can't get a hold of a parent. So then the next step is to, contact DCF.
So, if school cannot reach the parent or guardian, do not let the student leave. Contact SOR or initiate child in need of care protocol, which I assume means you could take possession of them, essentially, the rights of them.
No, child in need is reporting it to, DCF.
Okay, so if you don't get a hold of the parent, you have to report them. If the parent says no, then you have to report them. So you have to agree or else you get reported.
If you have a student self-reporting a need for mental health resources indicates suicide ideation, or is referred by another fellow student or staff member, I hope you're taking that kind of seriously.
Yeah, but if I report Sandy, if we're in high school and I report her because I'm mad at her for kicking my chair, you have to either report her parents or give her an assessment. There's no other alternative. But I'm mad at her, so I can report her just for fun.
You're gonna go report that she had suicide ideation?
Are you saying
You're
that
talking
kids
two
in her
students.
mush?
You're talking two students,
Two students, yeah.
but then isn't it just if they determine?
Well, it has to go through the screening.
You know,
But if you refuse the screen, you get reported, and if you can't get a hold of the parent, you report them. I have a problem with the flow chart here, which I don't know how much they
That's from the State
have.
Department, the flow chart is.
Yeah. I just think parents should be aware of that.
The catch on that one part is when the parents refuse to arrive at the school. Okay, so there's two of them. You cannot reach them or they refuse, okay,
You turn them in.
yeah.
So it pigeonholes you into having to take it, or you have to get turned into CPS. There's no way around it. Again, I don't know if we have any say in it. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Yes, my understanding is that if you're in a crisis situation, and the parents aren't willing to step in or can't be reached in a crisis situation, it then becomes the school's total responsibility. And so this is the next step, so that it, in a sense, it doesn't become the school's liability.
Like then we can't say, well, we just let them go, and then
And then something bad happens.
something happens, and
Yeah.
then.
But on the flip side of that, if we're seniors and I kick her chair, she gets mad at me and reports me, what are you doing in that situation?
I think you would be taking that situation with, like a grain of salt too. Like, what's your history? Like, obviously, if you're another student that's reporting a student, sometimes I would argue,
So
what's the history
we
there?
fall into the same category that she's saying. There's no.
But this is
differentiation.
strictly suicide self-harm. So maybe that would be the difference here, is what I'm seeing possibly on that. Depends on what the other party's gonna say, and that would have to be evaluated, but that could be your difference right there, self-harm or suicide.
Which can be reported by a fellow student or staff member.
I have this document that was, given to me, this is just more from the toolkit, and this may or may not help you, but this is that parent notification, if you wanna look at it.
Where does this documentation go again?
Into the, crisis plan.
Which is where to view?
It's in my district office, but every teacher has one.
This doesn't necessarily go in the
It is on the website too.
website, okay.
I just get a little nervous with must attempt. How long does that mean? How many times? How long do you wait? Tough call on the
Well, I
word
think if
must
a kid
attempt.
is showing these tendencies, I would hope you would attempt.
No, I mean, would attempt, but how long do you wait and how many times do you try?
So a lot of it depends on the severity and what the case is at hand.
That's what I mean, it just makes me just a little bit nervous as to how much
Yeah,
someone
and
tries or.
your counselor
however.
has got, is trained in this, so, receives training on this stuff, so I guess, you hope that, the person here, I guess I don't think that the person we have in charge of this at this time is, that I don't question whether she's gonna do the right thing or not, I think she's very,
What parts of it did you and Mr. Cordy edit? You said you guys worked on it.
edit. Mainly the chart at the front. The trainings, cause we are responsible for seeing that everybody gets trained. Well, and Mr. Cordy and I basically drove the crisis plan, and in the crisis plan, there's of course which you guys approved earlier this year. It talks about, the death of a student, so it talks about this is more just a resource for, like you say, this is a mandated statute, so.
That was all my questions.
Okay.
Anything else?
So responding to that though, is this, I mean, all these words are required, it's not anything that you've done, it's kind of the way it has to be.
Yeah.
Just addressing what you said
So
about
we-
that.
Yeah,
Fair to
I
say
didn't see
from
you having to say it, 'cause it said
Right.
mandated.
Page 49 to, I guess, 51.
52 is just the.
52 is the
just
resources. This is a mandate that the state has put out there for us.
Yeah.
So,
So we need a motion?
yep.
Move
Is there a second?
You
She made the
move to
motion.
accept the crisis plan update.
Yep.
Correct update?
All in favor? All opposed? 5-1. Brad opposed. All right, number 2, Foundation Boardmanship Workshop registration.
That boardsman workshop is, January 9th. And so, Joanna will need to get, board members registered for that.
I'll probably sit that one out, if that's all right.
It's fun.
In January, yeah, I don't see why I would start now.
This would be the same meeting like you went to and.
Right.
Good.
I do have I looked it up because I saw this on here, thanks for the update, a head notice, and I do have a prior commitment on that night, so I won't be available for that one, and boy, they're everywhere else, everywhere.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say
saw
there's,
there's 2 online ones, but I don't know if that worked for me.
there's,
So January 9th,
there's
You
one in
guys
Dodge
are-
City too.
capable or able or want to, I guess.
You can be really good.
Gives you the basics, I guess.
It's a Friday.
Yes.
I would highly recommend
That's an odd day.
doing it.
Okay.
Say that again, Mike?
I said I would highly recommend it.
Just don't run together.
Sometimes
with
it's like
them.
teeth get pulled, but
Only 3 to a closet.
you know,
At Atwood.
Logging in at Atwood.
Logging in Atwood, yeah.
All right. Got that. Number 3, supplementals.
Mr. President, I recommend Greg Wolf for high school assistant girls basketball.
For what part?
High school assistant girls.
High school assistant girls basketball.
Wow, you twisted a big arm.
I found this one.
approve Greg Wolf as the high school assistant basketball girls coach.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Same thing as that, you?
Yeah, Brad and Sandy. 6-0. Is that it on supplementals? Okay. Number 4, we have a resignation.
I've never actually done this one before. Mr. President, I would recommend, is that the right way? To accept the resignation of Jamie Hawkins for junior high assistant track coach.
I'll move to accept the resignation. As stated.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? That's Mark and Brad. 6-0. All right. That's the end of the meeting. I will. Oh, yes, my bad. I wrote 5 down too far. Yep, number 5, donations.
Mr. President, the Booster Club would like to donate, jackets to, the basketball teams, their travel jackets, and also basketballs for, the junior high boys and girls.
Talk about basketballs to be used for practice balls and stuff, yeah.
Do we have a motion to accept that donation?
I'll move to accept the donation for child gear and basketballs.
I'll second.
All in favor? 6-0, that was Mark and Stephanie. All right, I will add that our COMA training will be at next month's meeting. And I believe, I'll make sure I'm correct on this, but Cameron and Brad, you do not have to attend. We don't think, I will make sure, unless you want to. And the new board members don't have to, but you're welcome.
Is that the next meeting?
Yes,
That's the next meeting.
December 8th.
We need to for sure schedule time with
No.
Sorry, I'm not hearing you.
we still have it scheduled an exact time, but, well, I'll get that to you.
This was one of the days that they were available. And we could have a special meeting and do it. And I figured if the agenda would be short for December, kill it.
Nope.
No.
Go to the concerts.
Not yet, anyway.
Okay,
I'm trying to
I think
what
that's
is
it.
No, but things get worked around sometimes.
Meeting is adjourned.